Royal expert Neil Sean claimed that Prince Harry has taken a back seat as an executive producer to leave Meghan Markle take charge of the agenda behind their upcoming audio projects. The Duchess of Sussex is reportedly preparing for a new podcast focusing on various topics from entertainment to world news. The pair struck a multi-million deal with Spotify last year but have so far only produced a short Christmas promo ahead of Christmas 2020. Mr. Sean told, Harry and Meghan's Archie-Wall audio team are now allegedly fully complete. Apparently it's taken a long time to get the right team around them, but there's a bit of a swift change because initially it was going to be Harry and Meghan, but now apparently looks like Harry could be taking a backseat as an executive producer with Meghan leading the charge doing most of the topics. Now apparently they're going to be debatable topics of the day, everything from entertainment, showbiz, politics, world news, empowerment, you get the picture, and the one thing that I do find interesting is it's going to be very difficult for her. The Sussexes signed a £18 million Spotify deal in December 2020 to produce the programs and series. The duo released a trailer with Harry introducing their new collaboration to the world, saying, "That's what this project is all about, to bring forward different perspectives and voices that perhaps you haven't heard before and find our common ground." About the first 35-minute podcast episode, Meghan said, "We're talking to some amazing people. They're going to share their memories that have really helped shape this past year, which has been, as we know, a difficult one for everyone." Prince Harry continued, "So many people have been through so much pain this year, experiencing loss, a huge amount of uncertainty, but it feels worth acknowledging that 2020 has connected us in ways we could have never imagined, through endless acts of compassion and kindness." Media lawyer Ian Penman said, "It would not be an unfair assumption that perhaps their popularity was not as great as maybe they or indeed Spotify initially felt. I think you could draw a conclusion that if Spotify haven't exercised the option on the next episode of the podcast, then maybe they did not have the popularity that either Meghan and Harry expected or indeed Spotify anticipated." He told, "It's famously the case in music deals, this goes back decades, that when people talk about a large deal, like Robbie Williams signing a deal for £15 million or something, it does not mean he gets £15 million on day one. So the problem you have here, I would imagine, is that when they talk about an £18 million Spotify podcast deal, it probably means that they have signed their first product, in this case, a podcast. They then have many, many options for further products. All those options are in Spotify's favor. Make no mistake, they're not in Meghan and Harry's favor. If all those options are exercised, and we don't know how many podcasts that relates to, it may be that the total money spent by Spotify is £18 million. So, have they lost any money today? Probably, not a penny." Palace insider and author of Prince Harry, The Inside Story, Duncan Larcombe, tells, "It's likely Harry and Meghan are planning to come over for the Jubilee in June, but they could come even sooner, as Harry is due to be in The Hague in the Netherlands in April for the Invictus Games. Either way, it seems that this year Harry and Meghan will return to British soil and face the family they have so publicly criticized. It'll definitely be a tense reunion. Hopefully, though, the trip could ease some tensions. I imagine with all that's going on for the royal family, more stress with Harry and Meghan would be the last thing they want. It could potentially be a fresh start for them all." Recent reports have claimed that the couple, who have also signed multi-million-pound deals with streaming giants Netflix, Spotify and Apple TV, have been making private inquiries about selling their home and moving elsewhere. It would be the couple's fifth move, having lived at Kensington Palace and then Frogmore Cottage in the UK, briefly in Canada, then on to LA, where they rented actor Tyler Perry's £13 million home before buying their current house. Duncan, who has spent time with Harry on numerous royal tours and events over the past decade, says, "It's interesting if they're looking to relocate again. Harry hasn't moved around a lot during his life, apart from spending time in the army in Afghanistan, although of course, the royals don't move around. But he and Meghan had moved constantly throughout his relationship, and haven't lived anywhere for very long. If the reports are true and they're not happy in their 9-bedroom LA mansion, then I think that's a big red flag in terms of how happy they are in their lives, and as a couple. People tend to move a lot when they're looking for something. It could be that he's chasing happiness with Meghan, but never finding it. They've moved a lot as a couple, and also with young kids. Usually, that's the last thing you'd want to do." While Meghan hasn't returned to the UK since starting their new life in California, Harry made 2 brief trips home last year, once for his grandfather Prince Philip's funeral last April and again in July for the unveiling of his late mother Princess Diana's statue at Kensington Palace. Duncan now says that Harry and Meghan's upcoming return to the UK will be even more intense, as not only will it be both him and Meghan, but it'll be ahead of Harry's upcoming memoir. He adds, "I imagine Harry and Meghan's return will be a tense one. So much has gone on since Meghan was last here, and relationships have broken down." The news of Harry's memoir caused a lot of upset and anger, with him visiting only months before its intended release. "I imagine it'll be a bit of an elephant in the room. That book has the potential to do damage. I think it'll be particularly tough for Harry. I imagine he'll feel very torn.